where people never ever. I know people that used to message me and I was just like, okay, well, I don't particularly like long phone calls because I'm like, what you drop, but you never call. I'm like, that's a supreme lack of effort.
You don't hear my voice?
It's just a lack of effort. That's all I feel. I'm like, you chose the freest method of contacting me and the most edited version you could find.
Well, you're not well.
It's the freest now. Okay, guys, we're in for an exciting edition of the Locker Room Studio. Welcome inside the Locker Room. And a good morning to you, Lagos. You're tuned in and listening to Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1. Right now it's 8:15, which means it is time to talk sports inside the locker room. Yeah. Now it is with a difference today because today officially, if you didn't know, then shame on you, is Ladies in Sports Conference. It's very exciting. It's happening throughout today at the Sheraton Hotel in Ikeja. You should go sort yourself out. I do believe tickets are already gone, but you might be lucky. You might still be able to sneak in there. Go over to their Twitter handle right now at LIS International and find out more information. So it also means, though, that Tega has abandoned us for this morning, or as I like to put it, we've kind of kicked her off the show for today. Tega, sorry if you're listening. So we are going to be messing about with the sports for a little bit this morning, helping us out, but of course here to dissect NBA news in detail, we've got the fantastic Nwaji. How you doing, Nwaji?
I'm doing very, very well. I'm very excited to talk NBA basketball.
Yeah, I'm so sure you are. Yes, we are glad to have you. Thanks for coming in this morning. We did drag him. We were like, yeah, after not too young, and that's nice. Come, just let's talk about sports. But before we get into that, do remember that we are streaming live on YouTube. So if you go over right now to our YouTube channel, just go to YouTube and search for Smooth FM Lagos. You'll find us up there. It's very simple. Also, you can drop comments on our live feed up there on the live stream, and you can send messages to us on our WhatsApp number, which is 0809 444 0981. You can also tweet at us, and we encourage your tweets. Just use the hashtag LockerRoom981. The sports stories you want to talk about this morning. A bit. So first up, let's talk Super Eagles. So the Super Eagles grown-up Rohr has apparently cut down his provisional squad World Cup from 30 to 25 players. And those alleged to have been removed from the squad are Moses Simon, Delia Jiboye, Uche Agbo, Stephen Lokosa. Yikes. So these players will not travel with the rest of the team to London. Name his final 20. Now, team sources two spots are Ola Aino or Elderson, Gichele for left back, and Joel Obi or Mikel Agu for central midfield. It should be really interesting. Moses is back in the squad. We saw reports that he was given some extra time off because he needed a second honeymoon with his wife. This is a real thing.
Really?
I'm telling you, I was like, wow, such a nice coach, Rohr. I wish other people could get that. But how are you guys feeling about the World Cup? I mean, we're ready. We're almost there.
The anticipation is big. A lot of people are setting up, sports viewing centers around Lagos. People are getting. I'll confess, Lagos, I was never into sports. There was actually just one type of sports I really loved, and that was martial arts. But now that football, the World Cup is building up. Actually, last year I caught the fever, and now it's getting worse for good. Yeah.
Well, I've been watching. I'm not going to reveal my age, but I've been watching the World Cup since even before I could have cognitive recognition of anything.
Yeah.
My earliest memory of the World Cup was going back as far back as Spain, 1982.
Ooh.
My father is a huge avid football fan, so he ensured that all of us were. And for me, the World Cup is probably one of the greatest shows on earth. It happens every 4 years. I look forward to it. It's just a shame that this year, especially after the success you had with regards to visiting with South Africa in 2010 and with Brazil in 2014, going to Russia this year, not a lot of people are going. But notwithstanding, because you're not going to have that huge contingent of Nigerian supporters because people are just not going to fly out to Russia. But notwithstanding, what is happening is that the shape of the squad is coming together. I think the friendly against England this weekend will put a huge understanding of who that 23-man squad will be. I really like what the coach is doing Rohr, the German specialist, is really coming together because he's trying to identify the spine of that team.
Yes.
The spine being the goalkeeper, the midfield, and the strikers. So he's playing around. That's why you're seeing the rotation of these individuals and people having to vie for their spots. So it's not just necessarily that you happen to be a superstar or you happen to be the known trending individual. No, you actually have to prove to him that you are capable of fitting into the philosophy of this team.
Absolutely.
So I'm quite excited about this Nigerian squad because this is the first time I'm seeing this level of dedication, preparation, and tactical application to football. So even though we may not possibly win, but at least let us have a good showing and let us at least represent ourselves and let's be ready to shock the world. So go Eagles, man.
Especially because those jerseys dropped today.
Drop jerseys.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to cop me a jersey, I mean,
you know, we just mentioned something that's probably in mind. Those jerseys are popping.
You know, the deep green is nice for me. It suits my complexion. Thank you, fans out there.
Which, by the way, reminds me, I think my birthday is next week, so
again, you don't have shit
for the third time.
Get out.
Actually, my wife's birthday is on Sunday. Like for real.
Okay.
She loves jerseys, right?
Special shout out. So please get my wife a birthday. Love you, Becca.
Happy birthday!
Awesome.
Happy birthday!
All right,
and
so we
just
wait.
That was the sound of some hearts breaking across Smooth FM radio.
Oh, they didn't know I was married.
Hey! Some people were on our way. They were just listening to your voice.
This is 2018. You can still holler.
You know what?
Please, let's move on. We're still talking World Cup news,
Yes,
though.
we are. Actually, a World Cup 2018. Now, Russia and FIFA have been blamed for not stopping abusive chants. So, Russia's football union and FIFA have both equally been blamed by campaigners, equality campaigners precisely, for not acting on a rise in abusive chants at Russian games before the World Cup. So, the anti-discriminatory body FAIR detailed the increase in the report from data collected over the past year. Campaign group called Kick It Out wants FIFA to act against racist and homophobic abuse in Russian football. It warned of lack of action, and said it would leave some of these areas and staff vulnerable to abuse this summer. Russia will host the World Cup, which we know starts on 14th of June through to July 15th.
Racism in Russia and concerns.
This is, I made a statement earlier about a lot of people not going to Russia. This is the reason why. There are travel advisories against attending football games. Remember Peter Hummer game? He played in Russia.
That's true.
He expressed a lot of frustration that he had, even from the team.
Yes.
Because I think he was in Lokomotiv Moscow, one of those teams. And even the team that he played for, when he was banging in goals, he was still receiving racist taunts. It's one thing to receive from the opponent, but from your own squad itself. So it is real in Russia. So I hope that this actually puts some, I hope Vladimir Putin's like, look, the world is coming to me. Y'all cannot be acting out.
That's the one thing I believe in Putin for. I'm like, he doesn't like embarrassment.
He doesn't like embarrassment. So I would hope that he has his gulags in play. Like, look, just release some of those KGB boys in the streets. And be like, look, if y'all act up, we gonna have y'all go down to Siberia for the rest of your life.
Let's straighten everybody out. Okay, and now we're coming into the meat of I think what Nwaji's just been waiting for. Let's talk about basketball, shall we?
We're talking basketball.
Yes. Okay, singing is not for you guys, but it's okay. J.R. Smith's late blunder leads the Warriors' overtime charge in game 1. So I mean, there's so many memes up this morning, and it just makes you chuckle. But the enduring image from Thursday's game 1 of the NBA Finals will not be one of LeBron James's powerful dunks. No, or Stephen Curry's 38-footer to beat the first half buzzer. That's not what we're talking about. Instead, will be remembered as the night that J.R. Smith dribbled out the clock in a tie game. A back and forth final 5 minutes culminated in Cleveland Cavaliers got George Hill at the free throw line with missed his second. Now Smith recovered the rebound, but instead of firing up the shot that could have given Cleveland a 13-point underdog entering the game and unlikely road win, he retreated to the perimeter, thinking that the Cavaliers held the lead, waiting for a foul that never came. After the game, there were many conflicting explanations for Smith's play. Please.
Besides the fact he was possibly high, I really don't know what else.
Yes, because that was he's a great argument against legalizing the drug. Because
even LeBron James, this is the picture of LeBron James.
Just, what were you doing?
So 2 things happened here. You are absolutely correct. So it was a free throw situation where the game was tied at the end of the 4th quarter. I mean, it's an absolutely pulsating game. And, credit to LeBron James. He dropped 51 points. It was something significant as you expect from him. But what now happened is that Hill now missed the second free throw. J.R. Smith rebounded the free throw. J.R. Smith is 6'7", Kevin Durant is 7 foot tall. So for him to even get that rebound over Kevin Durant was remarkable to begin with. Got the rebound. So as you indicated, he did not go back up to put the shot in, which would have given them a 2-point lead. So that's sin number one. The second sin, which was even graver, was the fact that he didn't call a timeout when he had possession to at least reset the offense and have another opportunity to win the game or whatever the case may be. Why? Because the game was tied. Which is why LeBron went into an absolute state of confusion. You got the rebound, bruh, put it back up. All right, cool. You didn't put it back up. Maybe you got scared. You were thinking about something else. Why are you running? Call a timeout. Can we reset this offense and try and win this game? Is game one. If we lose, we are going to lose momentum, which is what happened in overtime, and these dudes are going to absolutely crush us. And what happened is that the minute that happened, the body language of the Golden State Warriors immediately changed. They came out in overtime and straight up spanked the Cleveland Cavaliers. It was completely merciless. And what happened is that Golden State had a very, very bad game when you begin to look at the numbers. Not one of their superstars, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, or Steph Curry, had any points above 30. Everybody was shooting around 40%, but notwithstanding, they still could not beat GSW on an off night. LeBron was fuming.
I can only imagine. He put up like what, 51 points.
The man individually is a superstar, but he's on an absolutely rubbish team. And that's what people need to keep realizing, which is of his own fault because he designed that team because he's a general manager in his own life. But notwithstanding, come on, man, J.R. Smith, like, what were you doing? Like, there has been question marks around this dude with regards to his half genius, half insanity way of playing his entire career. And I just cannot believe it. If you look at the press conference, I'll send you guys a link. We can post it up where they were asking LeBron, what do you think was going through J.R. Smith's mind? He's like, I don't know why on earth you're asking me that question. Like, he was legit upset. And he actually walked off because he was like, you keep asking me why would any human being did what he did? I just
they should put a guest t-shirt on J.R. Smith.
I mean, we've got to take a break now, but how much you want to bet that they're sending boys to J.R. Smith? Boys are going to talk to him.
But you know what? As we were saying, Nigeria, it was his villagers that they sent to him.
These villagers are working overtime.
The high mast.
Speaking of overtime, we have to take this break. When we come back, we will continue chatting. There will be more sports right here inside the locker room on Smooth.
Oh yeah, I need to show you this press.
So this is like another Liverpool issue. The football, the Liverpool issue.
No.
It's not.
This one, he collected the ball and did nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was frozen, like.
Just collected it. Want to go and stand on the sideline. I didn't even watch it. I just
was
did
like, what are you doing? The
That's
thing was, LeBron was calling for a timeout, but only the coach or the player who has
the ball can
call
do
a
that.
timeout. So Tyronn Lue was just in shock. J.R. Smith was just bouncing. Let me show you LeBron.
I need to actually watch it replay
How long is
people were so. I literally woke up as soon as I opened my Instagram. I just saw all the memes. I was like, eh. A friend of mine actually put out. He was like, you see, J.R. Smith single-handedly is the argument against legalization of marijuana because this guy was clearly just high and did not know what to do because he thought they were in the lead. He thought they had.
And that's what he said to LeBron was like, I thought they were in the lead. And that's when he pointed. Like, who?
Poor guy.
They asked me to talk to JR about it. I said no already. I knew it was a tie game. We was down one. George Hill went up. He made the first one. We got the offensive rebound. You know, I thought we were all aware of what was going on.
Hey, please back in. That guy teammate dropped the ball. Tells so that we've picked Tiger off temper. Doing a fantastic job discussing, especially the NBA game. We just can't get over it. We can't get over it. But we must move on. There's still more.
We'll move on to French Open now. Serena Williams says she can be better than before the pregnancy break. Now, American Serena Williams believes that she can even be better. She can better play than she did before she took a break from tennis to give birth. She's 36 years old now. She defeated Australia's 17th seed Ashley Barty 3-6, 6-3, 6-4. to reach the third round of the French Open. Her first Grand Slam since winning the 2017 Australian Open. And in a quote, she said, "I'm probably not where I was before I left." The 23-time major winner said, and then she couldn't. Serena Williams was quoted as also adding, "I'm definitely going to get there, but I also want to get beyond where I am right now."
Okay.
She's struggling.
Yeah, I have had the biggest black girl magic crush on Serena Williams
Really?
for
Serena!
20 years, and her just coming back You know, she was wearing this fantastic outfit.
See, I was gonna say, you check out her clothing line. She's on it.
It was just amazing. She was down and she rallied to come back because, you know, she just had to be. She hasn't been fit and everything else. But to do that just shows the heart of a champion, the tenacity and everything else. So big shout out to Serena. We wish you all the best. Let's see you get all the way to get your 24th title. Hopefully, you know, because you're just an absolute winner. So let's hope and let's see what happens.
Indeed.
As she gets along. Because because the years are going on. She's 36.
Yes.
She's 37.
Yes. Do you know what?
So let's see. This is just absolutely amazing what Serena Williams continues to do.
She's a major inspiration to women all around the world. And she does keep saying that she's doing this as well for women who have had a difficult pregnancy and are finding it tough to get back into the workplace. You can do it. She's like, if I can do it, you can do it too. So it's really, really inspirational stuff. We've got a few messages that we will start taking up on our live feed on YouTube. Leke Badejoko says the Golden State Warriors didn't play to their best, though they won the first game. Better performances are expected for them in the remaining games. GSW all the way. Look at them. See, coming out of the woodworks. More coming in still. Chimabi Vic says kudos to the Golden State Warriors for getting the job done tonight. But LeBron James, even though LeBron James came to the party by getting 51 points, but all this amounted to nothing because they lost successfully. Wow. How can you lose?
Snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
Big T has been sending in jokes all morning. So Big T, I will finally read out one of your jokes. Okay, his first one. Are you ready, guys? Okay.
Yes.
Locker room with no tech. That's like bread without butter. Or that's if you live in Lekki or Ikoyi. Or bread without beans if you live in Mushin or Oshodi. Really? Yeah, very somehow. He also goes, and your analyst talking about Nwaji doing a Putin impression with an American accent. That's classic, he says. Okay, Big T, you are now banned. I finish reading your comments.
Did I do a Putin accent?
No, don't
mind. We got this in. Charles from Yabas jumping the gun. Yes, we are talk about Zizou. Don't worry, it's coming up. It's coming up. While Ade says, Ogavalolo, you still owe half of Smooth and all your listeners small chops. No jersey for you. Thank you, Ade, for bringing that up. We appreciate you and your comments. Yes, so hey, do you know how much one jersey is? That's why the small chops is. Yeah, that's why the half of Smooth. No, but the half of Smooth he owes will amount to the jersey that he's looking for. Yeah, there you go. So Emeka says, I don't like the language that Nigeria will not win the World Cup, but just go and put on a good show. Please stop that. How was we won World Cup in other categories?
But we're not winning.
What category exactly?
We're not winning this World Cup.
Emeka, I like your optimism. I like yours. Okay.
I mean, you know, I'm with you. Yeah. This great energy, but yeah.
But even the president does not believe they're going to win.
Yes. Fly, Eagles, fly. Come on.
Fly.
Big E from K2 says, see the way everyone is prepared for this World Cup. As if God in heaven will send angels to cheer the Super Eagles. Just make them focus and play a good game. But let's give it to Gernot Rohr. He is the strategist behind these boys. He has disciplined them and he deserves more than accolades. Yes, he really has. Because I remember, 100%. You know, it was trying times when we were trying to find a coach. When coaches were, you know, there were allegations of we were getting a coach. We weren't. What's going on?
A very good coach now.
Yeah, we did. So big shout out to the team. Big shout out. More stories. Still talking about the French Open. So top seed Rafael Nadal has cruised into the third round with a straight set win over Guido Pella. So the 10-time champion Nadal saw off the Argentine 6-2, 6-1, 6-1 in 2 hours and 3 minutes at Roland Garros. The 31-year-old Spaniard will now face France's Richard Gasquet, who beat Tunisia's Malek Jaziri 6-2, 3-6, 6-3, 6-0. Now Nadal said this: we've known each other since 11 or 12 years old and grown up together, so it's going to be a great pleasure to play against him. I played such a good match. I'm very happy with the way that I played, he said. All right, Nadal. Let's see how that turns out really for everyone in Roland Garros. But now we have to move on to the news that we've all been waiting for.
Which one? Zinedine Zidane.
What do you mean, which one?
The one.
Well, Zinedine Zidane says he's stepping down as Real Madrid boss 5 days after leading them to the third straight Champions League triumph, claiming the club needs a different voice. Now, Zidane told a news conference that everything changes, and that's why I took this decision. Now, he leaves behind, he actually leaves having guided the Spanish club to 3 consecutive Champions League titles and won La Liga success since taking over in January of 2016. He added that, I love this club, in quotes, actually. He says, what I think is that this team needs to continue winning, but I think it needs to change, a different voice, another methodology. And we're sad.
Any thoughts on this, guys? I mean it sucker punched a lot of people.
The manager never expected that to happen.
Well, this is two things for me. One, Zinedine Zidane is a very interesting character, and he's very methodical and well planned out, and pretty much everything that he does. When you begin to look at his record, this man won. He only lost 16 games and won
out of
149.
149.
It's just ridiculous what his record is. But notwithstanding, he has to move on for whatever reasons. Personally speaking, I think maybe there were some conversations that occurred that maybe mounted to some pressure that said, okay, fine, you won 3 back-to-back championships. We expect you to win the triple next season, which is the King's Cup, the La Liga, and also the Champions League again. And probably he just analyzed it like, look, this is just entirely too much pressure, and maybe the club does need a voice. But the other component to what I'm saying also has to do with the fact that maybe for him, what else can I win?
Yes.
I mean, I literally just came into this coaching job a few years ago, and I have done something that nobody has been able to do. It's just simply remarkable. So for me to further solidify my legendary status, maybe the best thing to do is bow out. I mean, we are talking about Zinedine Zidane.
And the ovation is loud.
Who can forget him 20 years ago in the 98 World Cup in the final where he was a star with those
Who can
two
forget the
golden
headbutt?
headers? Who can forget him in 2002 when he played against Bayern Leverkusen when he hit that absolute wonder goal? Who can forget him in the 2004 European Cup when they won it again for France with that fantastic free kick and penalty against the Three Lions of England, greatest day of my life, when they knocked them out of the European Cup.
It's okay, calm down
The
now.
accolades are countless and undisputed. When it comes to Zinedine Zidane, the man is an absolute legend of gigantic proportions. He did it as a player. He has done it as a coach. What next for this man? I would love to see him go coach the national team of France or Algeria. His home, his native home.
Yeah.
So whatever the case may be, whatever is laid out, and he's still very young. Wish him all the best. He is a phenomenal human being, a phenomenal player, and no better person could have done it. And this is, if you're going to go out this way and exit stage left and drop that mic, no better way to do it.
Exactly.
Interesting. We've got quite a few comments as well, and we're also going to link it into the next story because it is speculating as to who's going to take over from Zidane. Ogbeni Femi Akemafe sends in this one saying Zidane took a very bold decision. He obviously knew that he would be sacked if the team struggles next season, so why not leave when the ovation is loudest? Smart guy,
Really
he
smart.
puts. Indeed. We've got more coming in. This is in from Martins from Amur. He says, I really wish the Super Eagles a good run at the World Cup in Russia, but I don't understand why FIFA 18 World Cup updates will rate Nigerian team the poorest in the group. That's so unfair. Sorry, they're working on old ratings. Shegu from Ikorodu says, on behalf of the family, I would like to tell our fans and crushers that my auntie Serena will be back stronger.
Yes.
Well done, Shegu. We understand. Serena from Ikorodu. We see you. We see you.
Oh, Serena.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one. he's talking
And that's his
about.
auntie now.
Yeah.
So Chimabi Victor sends in this one from the Emirates. He says Zinedine Zidane is a wise man. He left when the ovation was still loud because Perez, the Real Madrid president, is unpredictable.
Yeah, he's
So
not-
it is
he's
a wise
not stable.
decision from Zidane. in less,
Like I
in
said,
less
in the house
polite
too.
in less polite tones. Yes, indeed. So the next story, which I've said, and it's really just a very short one. So Real Madrid want Tottenham's Mauricio Pochettino as their new head coach following Zidane's decision to leave. That's what sources are saying. What do you guys think? So Real have not yet spoken to Pochettino, and Tottenham sources have told news reporters that there's no buyout clause that exists in Pochettino's new 5-year contract, which he only signed last week. Now, those sources also deny that there's a verbal agreement for Pochettino to be granted permission to discuss a La Liga move. Speculation.
Well, Pochettino is the man. He's a tactical genius, and what he has done with Tottenham over the last couple of seasons has been absolutely amazing. Whether or not he will fit into the juggernaut that is Real Madrid, I do not know, but it's something that we can talk about. So if they want to bring him on, just work out contract negotiations. These things are relatively simple to handle. It's just a matter of just some quick transfers here and there, and everybody will calm down. But can he go there and manage that from Tottenham from a tactical strategy point of view? I can see him doing that. But with regards to the occasion that is Real Madrid, I do not know if Pochettino is at that level or not, because you are managing an entity just with the way that Real Madrid is set up as an organization. You know that the presidents are voted in by the fans. That's just how their system is set up. So it's a very fan-driven organization in reference to just the corporate structure. So I don't know if you'll be able to handle that pressure. Fans say a lot. If they don't like your style, they can go to the president. They have board meetings and all these different things and make complaints and put further pressure on you, which is why you've seen the litany of managers before Zidane come in and out of that system. So let's wait and see if it actually happens. I think they have the summer to get it together and see who they can appoint and get the ball rolling again for the reigning UEFA Champions League champion.
Okay, we gonna see what we gonna see. We have to take a quick break. When we come back, it'll be the final sports story right here inside the locker room. So don't go anywhere. Okay, question. We can take this Wood story, this Tiger Woods story, or we can do an NFL story.
Okay.
Cannabis and sports. NFL's Mike James is asking for permission to use cannabis to play.
Yeah.
You wanna do that one?
He's suffering chronic pain. Huh?
He's painful. Okay. He does even watch you pull
Yeah.
down. Perfect. There you go. Good.
Well done, guys.
Thank you.
I mean, if I ask for salary increase now.
Waji, you're the best. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, Aji.
I love y'all, man.
Thank you for staying. Because we really trapped you.
I mean, the way Lakumi came to ask me, and after hearing you guys go into a tailspin, I was just like, there's no way in hell. I'll just make calls to my office, like, look, I'll be in at 9 o'clock. Yeah, that's it.
Is energy saving and cost effective with a 10-year warranty on its compressor. Switch to its gen mode function for small generator capacity to enjoy a constant cooling experience. LG, life's good.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Stella, and sincerely, I have never made a better decision than downloading and using the iInvest.
Okay, so you have the story, right? Did I do the last story?
So this is the
You're doing
last
it.
story?
Yes, yes. So I'll come in with one or two comments. You see them flooding in. Zidane. Zizou, the man.
Buy treasury bills fast and easy, and I can even select how long I want to invest and just start.
Okay, so I hear is available in Ikeja for 41,000. So it's $90. Yeah, so it's $90 in the Nike website. Which exchange rate are they using? Is the extra 8K for shipping? Yes.
Yeah,
of course. Are you joking? Shipping, handling, customs. You know your customs is. Are you crazy?
So
Guys,
we're not
stop it.
producing them here.
Yes, it costs money. That's the truth. Sorry, bruh. Sorry. It's expensive. And they'll have it in the one in the Palms as well, because I asked when it was coming in. Who do I know in the abroad I can toast now? Any fans want to purchase me, Jay?
Complete set.
You are so bold. You have not bought small chops here. You are speaking. They have warned you, Valentine. They will embarrass you now on this show. You understand? Imagine. So you know small chops. Yeah, full set. If they give you painted shirts, better just accept the painted shirts and thank God. Oh.
I worry more about airplanes than I do boxing. I never worry about the fight. I worry about the
Final hour Smooth Breakfast. I don't think that should we talk about the youth of Nigeria. The youth of Nigeria. Based on this conversation, it'll be funny. People will call now. It's actually true. Yeah, it's entertaining. I think it's curious, but I think it's Nigeria. I think we should stop blaming youth. There just happen to be a lot more young people than older people, but the Nigerian problem. Studio. The baddest ever, Muhammad Ali. We are back in for the final few minutes of sports right here inside the locker room with Valentine and myself, yes, and Nwaji is joining us. Very lovely to have you, Nwaji. Thank you. We've got messages still coming in, so I'm going to read out a couple, and then we'll jump into our final story. Big T, what is going on? No. We've got other messages. Ifeanyi Onwaolai says Zinedine Zidane, the wisest man ever living. Wow. And James from Marine Beach says Zidane did take a wise decision. Madrid has this attitude of sacking you after you win Champions League. Yeah. Pochettino will go and mess himself up. Meanwhile, somebody else was commenting about Arsene Wenger. Yes, because there were rumors about Arsene Wenger getting involved. Yes, and Big T says on Arsene Wenger getting involved to coach Real Madrid, I bind it in Jesus' name. Does he want to import his bad luck to Spain? Holy Ghost fire, says Big T. Comedian. Please, let's carry on our final story.
So the question on the story is take cannabis or retire?
Yes, it's a real question in the US.
Big dilemma for the NFL running back who says he needs the drug to continue playing American football. So his name is Mike James. He's 27 years old. He's a free agent who believes that he has become the first player to ask the league for permission to use cannabis, submitting a therapeutic use exemption, otherwise called TUE, for the drug. It was rejected in May because he could not indisputably prove he suffered chronic pain, but conversations with the National Football League remain ongoing, and James remains hopeful on a long-term solution. Well, he says submitting the TE was a huge risk. I may have sacrificed my career to do it. The running back tells BBC Sports. But he continues, said, but for me, there was no running from it anymore. I'm in a position to be able to do something for myself, to give back my life, to get back my life as well, and to help the players in the league. Do you think he's asking for something legal?
I don't think he is, but that also now depends on how you define illegal. The use of cannabis for therapeutic reasons is very subjective, depending on the state within the United States that you're coming from. So places like California, Colorado, where they have legalized the use of cannabis for this particular purposes, then it'll be fine. But he happens to be playing in Florida. He plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is located in Florida. So therefore, under Florida law, cannabis is not permissible for therapeutic use exemption. So what that now begins to happen as an athlete is that when you go to the doctors and you cannot find conventional remedies, you can go with something that's a bit more alternative. So sometimes, depending on the nature of your illness or your injury, you can go into other alternatives, and sometimes cannabis stroke marijuana can be used. Now the challenge is the NFL has a cannabis clause, which indicates that none of our players can smoke cannabis. So that's why I said it's a funny thing when you get to what is legal.
Yes.
So legal is now depending on the state, and it's also depending on the organization that you work for. So even though you cannot use this particular substance while you are working for us.
Rules of engagement.
So if those are the rules of engagement, that submission is actually detrimental because it's actually going against the policies of the organization that you work for, which is the NFL.
All right.
So it's not personal anymore.
Exactly. It's not. It's just a question of what's legal.
It's reality. Thank you so much. On that note, we are done with Sports Inside the Locker Room for this morning. It has been fantastic. We made it through. Big shout out to Nwaji, the big man, for joining us. Appreciate you. I wonder if anyone else there noticed how he just slipped in the we with the NFL. It was like, we don't allow. I was like, yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. We got to take a break. All right, clearly feeling great this Friday. Coming up next, final hour Smooth Breakfast. It's a conversation. We are thinking of what conversation we're going to have, but it will be entertaining.
You already know.
So keep it locked right here. It will be very entertaining. Good morning and welcome to Smooth Breakfast.
Yo, did I really say?
Thank you.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. It was so funny. We don't allow. I was like, I did my best. I wanted to call it out straight away. I was like, let me just.
Oh my God, that was a Freudian slip. I'm not boycotting the NFL this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Because of the same locker room.
Yeah.
But listen, to me, I'm just like, okay, that's what you want.